Hi, this is Diane Lovetobake on YouTube. What we're going to make are Italian cookies, and if you're looking for Italian recipes including cakes and cookies, I've got a lot on my channel, and I'm really proud of them. I think they all are really good recipes. But these particular Italian cookies, you can call them Italian sprinkle or confetti cookies. This particular recipe came from a relative of mine, and I asked if I could have it, and she gave it to me, and it is a good one. So let's get started. First, you're going to start off with 12 tablespoons of butter. I cut it up into small pieces because I think it's much easier to cream and for the video to move it along. Okay. What you're also going to be putting in, once I break up this butter and start to cream it, you're going to be putting in 3/4 of a cup of granulated sugar. Now, once that you start to cream the butter and then continue to blend in your granulated sugar, you want to beat this, mix it for at least 2 minutes. You really want it to come out very smooth and very pale, okay? I'm going to turn on my mixer, so I want to warn you about the sound. Start putting the granulated a little at a time. And that's at about medium speed. Okay. I'm going to raise my speed a little bit and move it along. Alright, now this is where you really spend that 2 minutes, but I want to move it along due to the video, but let me show you what I got so far, okay? Now, after that 2 minutes is up, then you're going to be putting in 2 teaspoons of vanilla and beat that in. You're going to be putting 1 egg at room temperature and beat that till it's smooth. And then I like to put a little lemon extract, and I put very, very little, about 1 or 2 little drops. Now, if you don't like lemon, then of course leave it out. You don't have to put it in. And I'm going to blend that. Okay. Now I just want to make sure that everything's not sticking to the sides and get to the bottom. And now we want to work on our dry ingredients. You're going to be putting in 1 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour. You're going to put 1 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. That's 1 1/2 teaspoons. 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then I'm just going to stir it in, and then I'll add the dry to the wet. Remember, this is moving a lot quicker too because I didn't beat the butter and the sugar for that 2 minutes. But it'll give you a very good idea of how to make these. And blend your flour a little at a time. You don't want to go too fast because you don't want flour all over the kitchen. And beat that in until it's all combined. I want to show you what I got so far. Let me just set this paddle down here. Okay, and I can see, but it's a very creamy. It's creamy and it's a light, very light dough. Now, what I like to do is, on my cookie sheet, you want to go ahead and use parchment paper. I just lightly spray it with a spray. But, you know, like I said, if you got parchment paper, prefer it, use it. Okay? And then what I like to do is, I actually like to fill a pastry bag with a large tip on. If you don't want to use a pastry bag and a tip, or you don't have one, you can actually roll about 2 tablespoons of cookie in a ball, place it on your tray, and then with a bottom of a glass, dip it in a little flour and push and flatten the cookie out, and then put your sprinkles on top. But that's not how I really make mine, or used to it. So I have some already pre-made, and I'm going to just show you. Now, I would space these cookies a couple inches apart, okay? And I generally get about 3 dozen out of this recipe, okay? And then you do need about a half a cup of sprinkles, or jimmies, or whatever you prefer to call them, okay? You're going to need more than what I have, because I know someone's going to write to me and say, well, that didn't look like a half a cup of sprinkles. And no, I do use a half a cup, but that's easier for the video, okay? Now you're going to bake these cookies at 375 degrees, and they're going to take you anywhere from 8 to 10 minutes. So watch them closely, because they can burn on you very easily, especially around the bottom of the edges, because you don't want these cookies to get, you know, real brown and of course have a burnt bottom on that. You certainly don't want to do that. Let me rinse my hands real quick, and then I want to show you what they look like once they're baked up. Now, of course, you can put, you know, whatever type of topping that you want on them. You can actually put little chocolate chips in them too, if you prefer to do that. But anyway, this is how they do turn out. They come out a nice golden brown on the bottom, and very light on the tops. I don't like to bake them too long, because I think they become too dry of a cookie, okay? And let's just break one open. Okay, but look at how pretty. Now, it will have a, not a crispy bottom, but it will have a semi-hard bottom to it, but a soft top to them. When you break them open, they will be, well, again, I don't want to say a dry texture, but they're more of a, they have a slight chewy, like a chewy cookie, but they have a drier consistency to them. But they literally just melt in your mouth. The crumb on them is so delicate and so light. I don't know if you can even see how it's just breaking away from the cookie with my spoon. It makes for just a delicious cookie with a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or that type of thing. I do want to ask you to watch my videos solely on YouTube. That's the only place that you're going to find them. Unfortunately, I won't have the recipe on the bottom of the video due to so many individuals taking the video, moving it to a different site, and it's a lot of work. To do that and have someone just take your work from you. And it's happening to a lot of folks, not just me. So that's why I try to take my time, explain to you what I'm doing and how much ingredients I've used and that type of thing. What I'd also like, if you try this recipe and you like it, well, leave a comment, because I'd love to hear from you. And also, the reason I'm asking you to watch me only on YouTube is because when you do write to me, I want to be able to answer your question or your comment or whatever that you have to say. But if you're on a different site, I don't get any of your questions or your comments. So please watch me solely on YouTube. I want to thank you for watching Diane Lovetobake on YouTube. I hope you give these little cookies a try. I think you'll like this recipe if you do. And if you do end up trying them and liking them, give me a like or ring the bell, or even better yet, if you're so inclined, subscribe to my channel. I want to thank you for watching Diane Lovetobake on YouTube, and I'll see you soon.